Hello, everyone. This is Julie from Patchworks, and I am in my sewing room tonight working on the medium log cabin from the butterfly quilt. So I know that it is Thanksgiving Eve, and on my way home from the store today, I stopped at the grocery store. Oh my goodness. Talking about trying to get in and out to grab a quick bite to eat before I went live tonight. Oh, that was so crazy. So hopefully you are done with your grocery shopping and are able to settle in for the night and relax a little bit, kick up your feet, maybe pull out your butterfly quilt or some other things. We have a short week this week at the store. We are at the store. Well, we were today. We'll be there tomorrow from 9:30 to 5:30. We will be closed on Thanksgiving, on Friday, and on Saturday, and then our regular Sunday, Monday. So we will have some really amazing deals online. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. And maybe during the course of this program, I'll give you a little sneak peek of that. But I just wanted to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight. All right. So we are going to work on the medium log cabin here. And the medium log cabin is in several different places. So it is, let me just come in closer here so that we can see this a little better. Okay, so the medium log cabin, let's see if I can figure this out how to show you. It's right here. And then it's right here and right here. We'll be able to zoom in a little bit better to look at that. I just wanted to show you what we're going to be making. So there are 3 different color combinations of this block. The one in the top is the one that we're going to be starting with today, and that's the easiest one. And am going through and sharing with you what the color combinations are. I decided today that wouldn't it be a great idea to just simply make color copies. I had shown you this before, but make color copies of that last color page if you wanted to swatch it out so that you knew what fabrics to be using. I think that that's a really great idea. And you can write on it as you want and then don't have to mark up your book. So the 3 colors of fabric that we're going to be using for the upper wings of our medium log cabins is Moonflower. Let me just grab that for you. We have Moonflower, which is an essential solid, Amethyst, and then Dahlia. So I did not press this out today before we got started. I was a little late to the game, but I also wanted to share with you this brand new iron that I got from Market. So let me go ahead and share that with you. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, I just wanted to share with you. I'm going to grab here our butterfly kit, our pattern as well as the kit here to share with you if you had needed any of this. Go. If you needed to hop on and get those, you absolutely can. All right, so we're going to hop over to the ironing board and I'm just going to swing the camera over and hopefully we end up getting my head in the picture because I'm so excited to show you this really cool iron. Okay, so this is the Velocity by Reliable. And we're going to be talking about it a little bit here. Let's see here, it's zooming in. I think we just pick up and zoom physically. What do you think? My head will be there. We'll see. I guess it's more important to see the iron than it is to see the head, right? All right. So Frank is deer hunting, and I usually do these Tuesday nights by myself anyhow, but he's deer hunting, and so we're left to our own adventures. Hopefully, we'll have this winter, so cross your fingers that he has a little bit of luck left this year. And this here, so this is the Reliable. This is a brand new iron that we have in the store. There's a couple things about this. So it is not an Olicio, so you can't leave it set and then have it pop up on you. It does have an auto shut off on it. But what is really cool is that if you don't want to be super safe and you don't want it to auto set because you're working on a major project and you're going to be attending to your iron in your sewing room, sometimes we're working on these really big projects and they just are super safe and shut off before we need them to. So this doesn't shut off at all. And so the other thing about it is that it's a compact vapor generator. I had asked the guys here why it was better than a steam generator. And they said, the ones with the extra tank, is that those irons are a little bit lighter weight. So this has the steam generator of a large steam tank, but it has the weight of an iron. So if you're looking for something lightweight and portable, this isn't it. But if you're looking for something with a little bit more oomph, this is really nice. So let me just show you here. Let's iron something. Have some wrinkles. Let's test it out. So we have, it's making a little bit of noise here. Let's see here. Let's see, did I even turn it on? Maybe I need to turn it on. All right, so we are going to turn it on. There we go. Very good. And you can hear it. And I really think it's interesting. It's making this interesting little noise as it's working. And there are 8 different settings that you have. Very nice. I probably should have given it a test drive before I had you all join me, but I was super excited to share. Oh, that is nice now that it's all heated up. I guess I just didn't have it heated up nice. Okay, and hopefully this piece of fabric here is going to be enough for our solid, because I'm just working with all of my stash cutoffs. Oh, nice. Now we're in business. All right, there we go. So I have, for all of these, I had pretty much, because these are from my stash here, they've already gotten pre-starched. So we just went ahead and press them back up. So let's peek over to our, swing on over so we can cut some fabric. Hey, what do you think of my new little setup here? I cleaned for you guys. What do you think? All right, so let's see, are we zoomed in enough? I gotta figure out what we're cutting. So we're gonna be sideways on you. Does that work? I think I was sideways last time for you. So how many of you are cooking for Thanksgiving? We have Sendex on order. So this here, I've identified that for this first block, Moonflower is going to be piece 1 and piece 4. Amethyst is going to be 3 and 6. And Dahlia is going to be 2 and 5. Okay. So I am going to stack these guys up here. Remember, I can't give you the actual cutting instructions because you need to have the pattern, and this is a public forum, so I don't know who's bought the pattern or not. I am going to see here, we need to cut for 2 of these. This is a width of fabric, so I just cut it in half so that I can be working with half a width. So what I did is I am first going to cut some strips that all need to be the same width. So I very carefully stacked up my fabric. So I'm working with 6 layers. Now, some of you might not feel comfortable working on 6 layers. I am going to grab my ruler that is right here, but I'm also, oh yes, when I cleaned up, I put my other specialty rulers right here in a very special place. Don't you love that when you do that, when you put your rulers in a very special place? So I'm going to make a straight cut here, lining up on my perpendicular, eking over to the edge as far as I can to make sure that I get in all the things here. I guess I'm leaning over so you can't really see what I'm doing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my fabric here. And then I'm going to use a shorter ruler here for my next cut. And I know my hand is in the way, so we'll figure out for the next round how to not have my hand be in the way here. So this is my moonflower. And remember, I said we're going to use it for pieces 1 and 4. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be cutting my 2 up because we're going to have to make 2 of these bad boys. I'm not going to be sewing all 6 with you tonight. I know you're probably wanting a marathon session here, but can't have a marathon. Can't have a marathon. Guess we could. We could be here all night. Frank's deer hunting, right? Thanks to all of you hopping on. I'm seeing some good comments here. Right. Gonna need another strip of this guy. Cut him first though. I'm really happy that the weather kind of warmed up a bit. I mean, oh my goodness. It was a little chilly there for our Wisconsin, even for us Wisconsinites, right? So what's your favorite part of Thanksgiving food prep? Do you have any interesting traditions? I'm going to be sharing Thanksgiving with my sister, which is going to be really nice. And we are going to be going and crashing Frank's deer hunting party, bringing him some food. And that'll be fun. And Beth is asking if Frank goes up north for the deer hunt. And yes, he's actually in the Saint Germain area, which is really close to Eagle River. So, and he's seen some deer, but nothing when he's been in the deer stand, only when he's driving places. So, oh well. So, so we'll be heading up on Thursday. So hopefully the traffic won't be too bad. Everybody will have left yesterday, right? That's the thought. That's the thought, that everybody will have gone already so that they'll leave the roads clear for us. Make sure that I'm paying attention here, because I think last week I cut something weird. Right? We'll take a peek at what we've cut after I'm done with these couple pieces. Make sure that it'll all assemble well. And then what we can do is we can actually make 2 of these blocks at a time, because we've cut 2 of them, right? And this one as well, I'm going to have to cut another strip. I should have gone ahead and just cut it. So let's just grab this guy down here. On the board. And I think we just have a straight cut and one more, and then we can reposition the camera and start sewing. So I was researching, I think I need, because I just love all my toys, right? I think I need to get a remote control tripod. Wouldn't that be fun? So I can just be like, and like move it everywhere. Maybe I should just get a drone to like go around my head while I'm sewing. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm just crazy. Now. All right, I should put my scraps somewhere. So we have pieces, and let's just get that tiny little board here so that I can position them on, and then we can start sewing. So we are making a left and a right again. So if we want to be completely obsessive compulsive about it, we could sew one left and one right. I don't know that we needed to do that like I did last week. We probably can simply just double check here at the picture to make sure that this looks right. But you can see here how nice that looks. And just going to double check on the picture that that is indeed what I see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I like it. All right, so let us hop over here, and then we can sew. So, and I'm going to sew both of them the same way this time. I'm not going to worry about having it really be, I'm not going to worry about it being a right and a left. So I see Ginny, you're on. Is this close enough to the machine for you to be able to see what's going on here? Let me know. So we are going to sew both of our pieces together, and then we're just going to keep going round and round and round. And you know, I'm supposed to start my leader and ender quilt, right, Beth? But I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to thread my machine here. And just a reminder that if you've been sewing a lot, make sure to change your needle. Clean the lint out of your machine and maybe give it a little drop of oil. Right. Ginny approves, so we are good to go. I'm going to, these are small, so I'm not going to worry about pinning. We'll pin later, but we're not worried about pinning right now because that's pretty tiny, right? All right, so I'm putting in my crazy leader piece here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew, and then I'm going to sew both pieces. And then what I'm going to do, I'll show you, I'm going to pull off one at a time. So I keep adding a piece to the bottom, so I don't have to do all the leaders and stuff. Okay, so I want my little sniffy scissors, right? Because I'm chain piecing here. So I'm not going to be using the auto cut and cutting after every piece. I'm going to be pressing open, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this next piece on. Okay. Oh, and thanks, Fran, for the comment. So Fran's least part is cutting. And so it's interesting to see how I cut. So, and that's really one of the things of playing along with this, is to see how we do things. And, you know, sometimes if you're seeing things naturally versus a basic instruction, then you're catching things that I may not otherwise instruct. So I'm so happy that that makes sense, because really that's what this is all about. This is just learning from real life, right? Okay, so finger pressed, and here I am using a little stiletto here. And so my stiletto is just helping guide it in. I'll have to put it on the back one time so that you can see how it looks from the machine. Hola, Anna. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, finger pressing. We are going to add the short one. Oh, put these wrong. Short one. Oops, I didn't cut this one so good. Did you see this? Ha! I left the selvage on. I'm gonna have to recut that one. All right. So, Fran, I always got to pay attention, right? Can't trust me while I'm talking. So the thing about making a log cabin is that you're proofing your seam every single time that you're going around. I'm just going to trim this one down. And see, this is round. What is this round? This is round. Okay. There we go. I cut my extra piece so that we don't have selvages to put on. All right, so what am I doing? I am taking my piece of fabric, my piece here, I can bring this light over a little bit to see if it helps just a little bit. Okay, so I finger press this open. And then this is my side where I have my pieces. I'm going to put my next round over this. Okay, so where the two pieces are, I'm putting my piece over this, and it magically is the length or the width of this piece here. If it did not measure, I would stop and evaluate why, because every round I go around, it's only going to get worse. Okay, so that is why we need to make sure that we are right on with our log cabin. Sometimes with log cabins, they are made to square up along the way. This is not one of those cases, okay? We are not squaring up as we're going along. We just know we can be that good. We know it. We are confident piecers. We have the skills. All right, so here, matches up, finger press. And I'm going to add this guy on here. And maybe next round we'll go to pins. What do you think? We're being daring and unafraid. Now, we want to make sure that we keep on adding it to the right place, because if I added it over here, well, it would be this right shape, but it would be the wrong block. So square it up, have it be an L on the outside of that L. All right. Then I think we're also going to we're going to press it out. Press it out after this round is on. So my little curved awl here, so there's a bunch of different stilettos. I was talking with Julie Herman today. Yolanda had asked me about one of the stilettos that Julie uses, and so Julie and I got into a conversation about her stilettos, and she really likes the fancy Tula one and the Vianney's one, and another one that she has. I love those as well, but one of my favorite ones is this curved awl. And the reason why I like this is that it has like this pointer that hooks. Okay, and do you see how it kind of picks up things, or it stays in? So I really like that for a variety of things. But the long tapered ones are also amazing. And next time we're together, I'll make sure to grab some of those other stilettos so we can talk about the difference in stilettos and why some might be good for some things and others, and why you probably need 85 of them. I'm always a proponent of you buying 85 of anything, right? Minimum of 10 yards of every piece of fabric that you love and 85 of all your favorite notions. I think that's a good idea. So I was having a little dance party down here in my sewing room this past weekend. I was living on the wild side, and I actually, we're going to press this now, living on the wild side, and had mochas at 8 o'clock at night so I could stay up sewing. I had a little sewing retreat by myself. So it was fun. All right, so you can see here how my log cabins are starting, and I was not being obsessive about them being, so they are going to be right and left, but I'm not worried about that, about the seams being all in the same position. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to the ironing board. You can come along with me if you'd like. Maybe. And we can look at this fancy new iron again. What do we think? Fancy iron. Let's see how long it takes to wake up, right? Why not? Cool iron. So I do press from the top, even when I press my seams open. Okay. Okay, it seems like it might need a minute to wake up here. So let it wake up. Maybe we need to figure out how to set it to not turn off. So to have it not turn off, we are going to press the steam button for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, it made a noise. Okay. All right, so let's see here. All right. Showing you the fancy iron. Turning this one on here. Pressing it open. All right. There we go. There we go. Now we hear it. So now that we turn it back on, it should stay awake forever. All right. This away. Do. I still like a robotic arm. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Little remote control robotic arm. That'd be super awesome. All right, so now we're coming back for the next rounds. We're coming back with the moonflower again. As a reminder, we do restock all of the Tulip Pink basics. So you can count on us to continually stock them, as well as receive full collections of her fabrics at least through 2023. So I would assume that we are going to continue longer, but just know that that is our commitment to you. We are going to be playing along with the Queen of Diamonds. Next year, we do have the super special Everglow kit coming in next spring. That's super pretty. We haven't opened up pre-orders on the fabric yardage. That's not how we have been operating in the past. So we're going to continue, at least currently, with that. And then when we get closer to the time, we can move forward. But it just seems to be a little crazy complicated, especially with fabric delivery lines, like delivery times changing and such. I don't want to hold on to your money any longer than I have to, right? But be assured, we are getting a ton of that fabric. So much that Frank said, "What are you doing? Are we going to be eating it for breakfast?" And I said, "Yes, yes, we are." Because we're super excited. So for our Black Friday deals, secret number 1, maybe a little teaser treat. Have you thought about your backing for this quilt? So this quilt, how big is this quilt going to be? This quilt is going to finish 88 by 94. And that means you're going to want 2 3/4. Let's just go ahead and say 3 yards 2 3/4, 3 yards of a wide back. I think a birdie told me that wide backs might be part of the deal. Ooh, we'll be having a cocktail hour preview, call it happy hour, tomorrow night at 7 from the store. So you'll want to tune in there. And there will be a couple things that we're adding throughout the weekend just to keep you on your toes. But we're really excited about some of the exciting things that we have going on. So while we'll be closed for in-person shopping, we've lined up a bunch of treats for you to keep you entertained this holiday weekend so that you can still shop small. And hope you'll enjoy what we have lined up for you. All right. So here we go with what color is this? This is the dahlia wildflower. So this is round 4, 5, 5. And once again, we're going on the side that has that seam. Probably should start pinning, right? So if I were to pin, I love, love, love these little glass head pins by Clover. They're fine. And when I pin like this, I would pin on the end. I pin perpendicular to how I'm sewing. When I'm piecing, this is how I pin. There are several other reasons why you pin differently. So I'm pinning both edges here. If this were longer, I might pin 3, 1 in the middle. But from a good rule of thumb, having it be a hand's length apart is pretty good. So this here is right on the fringe of whether or not I pin, but I figure we should be talking about best practices and how I do things. So, and then I don't sew over my pins, okay? Your machine will not like you if you hit it, okay? So I used to sew over my pins. And one time, not only did I break the pin, but I bent, I don't know, the needle bar or the shaft. And so that's just too expensive and too crazy. Not of this machine, of a different machine. So don't sew over your pins. Needle down, take your pin out. If you're running on like tons of caffeine, you can go ahead and like remove your pins while you're sewing, but just stop, right? Why not? So exciting that we're having so many people join us. I feel like that one reel, have you seen that those reels on Instagram where it's like the little kids saying, "Oh, I can't believe anybody watches." I was watching somebody and it's like watching paint dry, but we're sewing and we're having fun. So I am pinning this, right? It's another log here on our log cabin and making sure that the fabric matches, right? Because if this was too long or too short, we'd have to stop and reevaluate. So I'm pinning here. I'm gonna go back to my sewing machine. And then after that final round, we will do, we'll press it again, but I don't go to the ironing board and press every single time. You absolutely could. I do like to keep my iron away from my seated position. I do that purposefully so that I get up and move around because it would be so easy to just stay seated. And while you actually can do that for efficiency, I find that if I don't get up and move around, that I get cramped and do keep on moving and stretching and all that good stuff. All right, so next layer, right sides together, pin. I finger pressed that open, right? Finger pressed. And ran my nails across it. Wanted to use an iron next to your station, you absolutely can. If you wanted to use one of those wooden presser things, high technical term. Maybe somebody wants to chime in and tell me what that technical term is. And I dropped my stiletto on the ground. So I'm just going to use the back side of my seam ripper. Remember I told you this last week that you can always use the back side of your seam ripper as a really nice stiletto. And remember that seam rippers do dull. So just like your needles and your blades and your scissors. So if it's becoming super painful, I mean, not just normal painful of being annoying for having to unsew things, but if it's becoming difficult, go ahead and treat yourself to a new seam ripper. These Clover seam rippers are, I think, only $5.50. So really great value. Love it. Super sharp. And it has this larger handle and this really nice grip. So I love it. One of those necessary, needful things. Okay, how is it? How are we looking here? Ooh, So we are ready for our sixth round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to come back with this beautiful fabric. And this is the amethyst, the mineral amethyst. So always feel free to change things up along the way. If you preferred to add your own fabrics, I know one of the quilters that's playing along with us, she doesn't really like solid fabrics. So for every solid that's in the quilt, she's choosing another fabric from her stash. And she's going deep into her Tula stash for all sorts of different options. All right, so am I still just doing 2 pins? I think I am just still doing 2 pins. If you really wanted to, you could go ahead and add a 3rd pin in the center there. Remember that I am going perpendicular to how I'm stitching when I am piecing. And I am using Orfill 50 weight thread here. Going over our pins. If you had wanted to and it didn't confuse you too much, you could go ahead and do 2 different colorways at a time. I'm just doing one colorway with you right now because that's what we cut, and I didn't want to spend time doing more cutting with you and bore you to tears with that. What does Fran let me know? I'm not boring you because you're picking up tips and tricks along the way. So Fran, when we're talking about stacking fabrics like this, just honestly, because we're making 3 different blocks that are identical pattern, just different fabrics, what I honestly might do is simply stack my fabrics for all 3 blocks for like piece number 1, and then cut all 3 of them at the same time, and then just layer them block 1, block 2, block 3, and then move on to piece 2 and cut all piece 2s for all 3 blocks. So don't cut more fabrics than you feel comfortable cutting. Always go slow. And when I'm cutting small pieces like this, I do like my 45 millimeter blade. I feel that the 60 millimeter blade is great for power cutting, but when you're cutting small pieces like this, I prefer having a little bit greater control of the 45 millimeter blade. And once again, if you're struggling cutting, go ahead and change that blade because you don't want to have a cutting accident in there. So I'm super excited. I still hear my iron huffing and puffing over there, generating steam, which is great. So it'll probably run through the water as well as we're supposed to pin it, run through the water as well as, irons use up a ton of power. So it is greener if you simply let your iron go to sleep in between your sessions. But for purposes of this video and probably future videos, we should leave it on so that we don't have to spend time waking our iron up. There we go. And I'm just using my fingers right now. I don't have my stiletto in place. I just, go back and forth between what I'm doing, and especially when I'm talking to all of you. Sometimes I get distracted. So we have one more log and then we're going to give a final press. Isn't that exciting? It's exciting. Woohoo. All right. Finger pressing in that thumbnail. All right. Make sure that that log matches. Okay, you want to make sure your log matches, right? We're not trimming anything off. We want to make sure that we have a nice square. We want to make sure that it'll fit. So the reason why sizing is so important is that we have all these different size blocks that we'll be putting together into sections later on in this quilt along. We might first be into next year when we are doing that, but that's all right because we're enjoying the process of sewing, right? We're not hurrying along. We're methodically enjoying the process. Plus, it's going to be a long time until that Everglow fabric gets here. So how about our goal is to finish up before Everglow gets here. But this way we are going to keep ourselves entranced with this project. Still at a pace that if you wanted to, you could do some other projects along the way. All right, so I have both of these. We are going to head back over to the ironing board. Let me make sure I don't lose my microphone thing here. It just fell off. Oops. And for being very technical today here, right? Do. Come up a little bit. All right. Come back around. Here we go. And we are going to press this open. All right. So if you press to one side, by all means, continue pressing to one side. Don't feel like I'm bullying you to press open. Hear it going. Ooh, nice micro steam. Ooh, ah. Setting this here. So if so one of the things about steam is that you want to make sure that you have pre-shrunk your fabric with starch, because if you're adding steam and you haven't pre-shrunk anything at the time that you are shrinking, at the time that you're adding the steam, what could happen is that this would actually shrink in, and that would be really super sad, especially when you're precision piecing and you want to make sure everything works together. All right, just add that there. Perfect. Oh, I love it. It's beautiful and crisp. Now I'm going to do this guy here. So now, why don't I go like this? I guess we could. I just tend to go from the other side. The thing that if you do it from this side, what you want to make sure is to flip it over, to flip it from, or here, to flip it over to press from here, because what can happen is that when we press like this first, this seizes up next to each other, and we want to make sure that it ends up at the right size of the block. Right. Okay. Well, that was fun and painless. 2 gorgeous blocks. Yay. All right, so let us hop over to just talk about the fabric that we're going to need for the other parts. And then I will have you be able to work on those blocks. I can't sew with you entirely today, sadly, for all of the blocks. So remember, I don't give you a ton of homework. And you don't have to finish these other 2 blocks if you don't want to, or the other versions of this block. I just wanted to make sure that we have the fabric requirements for what you need. Let me just make sure here that I have, well, this doesn't make any sense here. All right, so we're going to play along with it, okay? So I have, for our fabrics, you have iris. And with your solids here, what I want to remind you to do is that when you get it home, a lot of times what can happen is that you forget what color it is, because there's all these beautiful solids, especially in the Tula range, and there's a lot of blues and purples, and you know, what color is this versus this versus this, you know, how can you tell along the way? And you know, really, this print here, can we see it? Okay, so this, let me move it farther this way. So this says iris, this is iris. And I, off the top of my head, wouldn't have thought this is the same color. Does that make sense? So what I would recommend that you do is when you get these solids home, let me see, can I put it here for you? That you write the name of the color so that you know which one it is, and use a permanent marker like a micron marker so that you just have that right there close to the selvage, because your free spirit solids are dyed and don't have anything printed, okay, on that selvage. The only indicator would be on the bolt, and my guess is that most of you don't have whole bolts of this at home. So we have the iris, we have the celestial, and once again, the celestial looks a little bit, I will say, more dull on this fabric versus the piece of paper here. It is beautiful with the palette of fabrics, but it just is not rendering as deep of a color, a near black, that I had perceived it to be. So we have the celestial. You also have the topaz mineral. You're going to have the lupine palm, the sapphire mineral, the delphinium wildflower, and the deep sea hexie. Okay, so these two are going to make up blocks 2 and 3 of your medium log cabins. So let me just pull this picture up so that I can share it with you. My little notes that I made beforehand don't seem to translate particularly well. Sometimes that happens. So the blocks that we're making are going to be this one and this one, okay? So this is the one that we're going to talk about first, all right? So your piece number 1 is going to be the lupine. Your piece number 2 is going to be the topaz mineral. Your piece number 3 is going to be the delphinium wildflower. The piece number 4 is going to be, pull these aside here so that it makes more sense and I don't have to keep moving everything. The piece number 4 is going to be the iris. Now, in the light that I have here, I can see on my screen that it looks a little bit more purple than what I actually think that it is. Then we're going to come back. All right, we have lupine, topaz, delphinium, iris, delphinium, topaz. That is your second set of log cabin for your medium log cabin. And then for your third set, we are for our third set. Hello, thank you so much. Sorry we blipped there. For the third set, we are going to have our celestial, the piece number 1. Then we're going to have deep sea. So we can see it better. Okay. So we have our and we have our iris. Iris, lupine, delphinium, and topaz. So let's recap here for that third set here. See if we can get it all in. That third set, we have celestial, deep sea, iris, lupine, delphinium, and topaz. So there you have it. We have our 3 sets. Let's come back at you here. See, I need to have Frank with me. Oh my goodness. Trying to get all fancy. All right. So we have these really cool medium log cabin blocks. I thank you so much for everybody who's watched with us today. You're going to make a total of 6 of these, 2 each of 3 different color combinations. This is the first color combination. We just talked about the other 2. I'll make sure to share photos of the other 2 combinations so that you can play along too, in case if you are having problems reading and deciphering the color coding instructions from the booklet. We have been eking along on Tuesdays in my sewing room here to make this cool quilt. Always feel free to ask questions along the way, and we're going to have lots of fun. We have another video coming tomorrow live from the store on our Facebook and YouTube channel. You'll want to tune into that. That is going to be at 7 o'clock. We're going to have it be happy hour, and we're going to be having a little bit of our Black Friday weekend online sale preview for you to be able to look at some of those really fun things. So you'll want to pick up a cocktail or your favorite beverage, whatever that might be. And hopefully all of your Thanksgiving work will be done and you'll just be able to kick your feet back and be able to play along. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight and for playing with our technical difficulties. I really appreciate your viewership. If you love this and you want to watch more things, hop on over to our YouTube channel. We have all of our content saved there, and you can just binge watch hours and hours of our fun entertainment. As a reminder to our local customers, we will be closed at the store Thursday for Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, and then our regular Sunday, Monday. Happy quilting, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.